Hey everyone, Disappointed Giant here. Welcome to the second video in a 3-video series where we are beating 5BC using only the starting item. So already put out a brutality video. This is going to be our tactics video, so I'm just going to take a moment here to hit up the custom options so we can see how few items we have unlocked. So those ranged weapons right there, that's what we're going to be digging into here. But we are only going to be using tactics weapons. So we had a good brutality run, ended up getting through the full 5BC, the gauntlet, if you want to call it that. And here's the tactics run, right? So we're going to kick things off as we always do here. I didn't mention this in the first video, but I wore the baguette outfit, which is a free comes stock right out of the box because it was red. Real quick, these are the things that I do have unlocked. So we get Sim Lance because that has to be unlocked after you beat 0BC. You don't have a choice. And then as many meta upgrades as I can get, but that's it. And then this one we are wearing the Galaxy outfit because it's purple. So we're going to go along with the tactics colors. I was just talking with someone in the comment section about different outfits, and I'm wearing this because I need to remember to take tactics scrolls because I played so many brutality runs getting that footage from the last video that I needed a visual reminder to continue to take the appropriate scrolls instead of smashing that button to take brutality scrolls. So we got ourselves the Galaxy outfit here. Again, the brutality run had the baguette outfit. There's one more called the retro outfit. It's green. I'm going to showcase that one in the third video in the series. But here we go, right? So real quick, in addition to not using anything except the starting weapons here, another thing about this video, similar to the last one, what I did was I edited out a lot of the unnecessary or kind of like repetitive footage. So thinking about at the end of a run, right? You know, I'll usually clear out the map. I'll go recycle food. Sometimes I'll go into a boss cell door and there'll be something in there that I recycle that's not necessary. So I cut all that stuff out. So trying to keep things a little bit more streamlined here. Especially, like I said, we're doing a series here. I feel like we're going to have a little bit of, I don't think repetitive content's the right word, but we just have less options, right? So it's not going to be as what's the word? Varied, maybe varied's the right word. It's not going to be as varied as one of my normal runs. But anyways, yeah, so I decided to cut out a bunch of stuff. So we saved maybe 15 minutes on the run, which isn't bad. Like you can see here, the run's just about an hour, which is like it's about 15 to 20 minutes shorter than my usual video. So hey, go us, right? So you'll notice that, you know, there'll be some flashing between the portals. You know, I might walk into one door and come out of a shop or something like that. So just trying to keep it smooth. And like I mentioned in the last video, if edited long plays like this are cool and interesting, just let me know. I'll you know, if enough folks think that these are also good, yep, so there we go, right? If enough folks think that these are cool ideas, you know, the editing is good, then I will throw those into the rotation for future videos, right? But here we go. So again, this is video number 2 in the 3-video series. We're only using all the basic stuff. So I don't have anything unlocked, even the free stuff, right? So we don't have Pure Nail, we don't have throwable objects, just things like that. So we are severely limited. But the good news, I feel like even more than the brutality run that we had, the initial tactics kit is very strong, very strong. So I think I called it, was it Blood and Steel or something like that? Or yeah, I think that's what it was, or Steel and Fire. I can't remember what I called it. But basically the combination of throwing knives and firebrands, I threw that in my beginner's guide video. It's super powerful. I think it's actually the build that we're going to win. I think it's the build. Oh man, those box elites, they pop out. Those boxes pop out so quick, and you have, I don't know, what, a second, half a second or a second to get in or out of that box before you take damage. But I think the build that we win this run with is the build that I talk about in my beginner's guide. So, or I should say my beginner's build, my beginner builds guide. But overall, this was a really fun run. Again, we got some good synergy kicking off. We'll get into that as the run goes on. And I should probably talk about what I've taken, right? So out of the tubes, the only damage dealing tactics weapon that was there was the electric whip. I'm not mad about it. I love E-Whip. It's one of my favorites. It's incredibly powerful just in general. Speedrunners use it all the time. It's fantastic. So I wasn't upset, right? I wasn't upset. But all the other ones, like here we go, Frost Blast. All the other tubes had Frost Blast. So I chose E-Whip, right? And also took Wolf Trap. We just upgraded there. That one has plus, I think it's got the plus 40 to electrified and the plus 40 to burning. I might take a quick peek here. Oh, and here are all the things. So you can see here on the right, unlock one more item. All this stuff is locked. I can't get any more meta upgrades until I unlock things, but we're not doing it. Look at this. Look at all of this stuff. Look at all of this junk that I've accumulated over the past however many runs on this file, right? Absolutely crazy. But the stuff on the right-hand side, like I said, it said, unlock 5 more items, unlock 1 more item. So we're not doing that. So we are stuck with the meta upgrades that we have. So gold reserves is stuck at 1500. Flasks are stuck at 3. So there's another little bit of a deficit. So the other good thing about tactics is the mutations that are part of the default kit, just the stuff that comes right out of the box, are quite good. So I would rank them in order. Well, let's do that later. Let's talk about what I picked. So I picked support. So support gives you extra damage to everything, right? Doesn't matter if it's your main damage or attack, turret damage, dot, or whatever it is. It bumps it up by a significant amount. So I think right out of the bat, it's right off the bat, I think it's like 30. I should know this by now. It's like 32, 33, 35, something like that. And of course, the more tactic scrolls you dump into it, the more powerful that's going to be, which means your build is going to be strong. It's going to get really strong pretty quick. You can take support with any build, right? Like I said, the base damage is whatever, right? 32% increase with 1 scroll in tactics. So even if you're running brutality, take it with cleaver, right? You're running survival, take it with, what do we got? Scavenge, bombard, like anything that's going to give you that DPS boost. It's going to be good. So really good in general, super good on tactics. So we're really fortunate that that's one of the initial items. Ooh, here we go. We get another blueprint for the junk drawer. we got Force Shield. I like Force Shield. I feel like it's a little underutilized. And we got ourselves a good dual stat. So I don't think this run is as lucky. I don't think it's as lucky as the brutality one. Like, we got a bunch of extra scrolls there. What am I doing here? Am I going to upgrade my wolf trap? I do. So I upgraded the wolf trap because I had good affixes on them, and then I rolled them off. So I'm double checking here. So this is sick. We got electrified and burning damage on the wolf trap, toxic cloud. We got plus 80 to poison on the E-Whip. So right off the bat, right, immediately going into the second level, right? We've been playing, how long's this run? So far it's been 6 minutes in-game time. We already got a bunch of good stuff. We already got some good synergy here. So there is a little bit of luck here. So I think throughout the run, we end up getting, I think we get 2 good scrolls, or I should say 2 good dual scrolls, and then 1 or 2 challenge rifts. I'm not positive, but we get a little bit of good luck here, but nowhere near as much as the other one. I'm going to grab Sinew Slicer. There we go. So it's our second tactics turret. There are only 2... For the initial builds, there are only 2 secondary skills for tactics, and we're looking at them, right? We got Sinew Slicer, we got Wolf Trap. So that is going to be the second half of the build. I recycled that multi-Nox bow. We're going to use it later. We are going to grab one. I think it's in Corrupted Prison. I wish I did not recycle that because it had a rare affix on it. It had Make the Victims Bleed. So on its own, bleeding is great. You're going to want to stack up a bunch of bleed stacks. So like only having 1 or 2 isn't super powerful if we're looking for dot, but that's a rare that's a rare affix. So I don't know again, I've played so many runs I can't keep track, but after I recycled that, I looked at that and I was like, man, I don't know if I've ever seen that. So I should have taken it, but I didn't. But again, that's okay. That's okay. We got good weapons. We got good synergy here. But like I was saying earlier, when we were showing the custom mode settings, we only got 5. We only have 5 ranged items that we can use. The good news is they are all tactics. So it's not like we have a ranged item that we can't use. I think the only one I do not use is Frost Blast. So I originally wanted to grab one just to show people what it did. But a lot of the stuff that we're doing here, right? So the bleed from Sinew Slicer, and then either shock from E-Whip, fire from Firebrands, or bleed from throwing knives is going to pop the freeze. It's going to make the effect stop. So it's almost like it wasn't really worth it to take it here based on the strength of our build right from the get-go. I do use it a lot in the survival run. There are 2 melee items that I use in there. One of them is a Nutcracker, and Frost Blast Nutcracker is, you know, one of the earliest and most I want to say appropriate for survival, but we use that a lot. We use that a lot in the survival run, so I did not take it here. I decided to recycle that Firebrands. I already forget. I don't know if it was a bump up or not, but it did not have extra damage on Electrified, so I didn't want to give up that synergy. So we're keeping that plus 40%. And that's something to think about too. So sometimes you will see an item, and I think I did this with the Balance Blade in the Brutality video, but you'll see an item that is of higher quality, right? So you might be bumping up from a 6 to a 9 or a 7 to an 11 or something like that. Get your Slurpees, by the way. If you're bumping from 7 to 11, make sure you get like a Coke or a Blue Raspberry Slurpee. But the increase in gear level may not have the same amount of damage as a lower leveled weapon with good synergy. So the increase might be what? I don't know, maybe you're going up 40%, right? Maybe I don't know the numbers in front of me, but if you are going from a level 7 to a level 11, maybe that is and what are we doing here? We're going to grab this. I think I might recycle this one too for this exact reason. Yeah, so going from a 7++ to an 8S, we're looking at an extra 60 DPS. And I'm fairly certain I'm just going to... Yep, there we go. So that's exactly it. So you might have a bump in DPS, right? So let's say your overall damage increase for the item that's of higher quality is going to be, what, 20%, 30%? But that doesn't mean that it's better than the plus 80 or plus 40 or whatever you got. So keep that in mind when it comes to item quality, affixes. You know, we definitely want synergy. I've said that a bunch of times. We want to get as many things in the build talking to each other as possible. So here we are. So the other mutation I got, the second one, here we go. I'm looking at this. A little bit of damage. The reason I don't take this one is because it has biters. I do not want biters in this build. Enemies will aggro against the biters, and especially with a curse, you could enemies' patterns can be a little bit off, or you might see an Inquisitor shoot a missile where you don't expect it. So I chose not to take it there, even though it was going to be a little bit of a bump. But the second mutation, so we ended up taking Tranquility. So Tranquility is similar to Support, where it bumps damage when you are far away from enemies. So it's not great for levels like this in general, right? So we have dense corridors. I think there's actually a few really good dodges coming up here. I think my dodging in this level was actually pretty notable. I thought it was. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Never mind. Classic, right? How many times does this happen where I make a comment about not taking damage or doing something good, and then I immediately take damage? That's incredibly funny. Look at that. I just grabbed food off of the other side of the wall. That was like, that's some airborne skills. What is that? Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater? Is that like a reverse 180 backside ollie or whatever? Whatever it was. You can do that. You can activate the secrets from the side of the wall that it's not on, but you actually can't grab the food until you go onto the other side there. But I did not choose to upgrade that firebrands specifically for the biters, I just wasn't in the mood. I want to get this clear here. I want to get through this curse. And one of the things I had a little, oh, look at that. Ouch. That's not good, right? The good news is we have this big food. So we're going to go up from, what are we at here? Yeah, we're going to go from 10 to 60, 10 plus 50. We're going to go from 10% up to 60%. So we're going to get more than half of it, or I should say our health bar is going to be more than half filled here. The downside to that is there was no teleporter near the food, so I had to go out of my way. That means Malaise bar is ticking up a little bit. We made it from, I think it was a little bit less than 2 to now 2.5, which means enemies are going to start teleporting in just like that, right on cue. So not the end of the world. I'm pretty sure we clear Malaise in general fairly quickly here, because enemies, as you can see, enemies are getting taken out really, really fast. As far as damage goes, we're not struggling the least. So I feel like it's not the end of the world, but we did get ourselves a little bit more Malaise than we may want. And I feel like I talking about curses, like I mentioned, this is 2 out of 3. I recorded this a few days ago, and I recorded the survival one yesterday. So I recorded that before I did the commentary here. It took me a long time. To get that win. And again, it's not because the items are bad, right? It's not like you can't, like I was saying, you can get a win with anything. So it's not like the symmetrical lance is not good or whatever it is. My play was aggressive, and I don't know if this happens to you during runs, but basically, like, if I lose a run at a certain point, I need to, like, get back to it, right? So if I lose a run and I'm like, oh, I died from a curse in the Arboretum, like, I gotta go, and I'd like to get back to the Arboretum so I can, like, close that circle and move on. Oh, here we go. So here's the multi-nox bow. So I think we're going to take this over E-Whip, I want to say. I think because E-Whip was the first thing out of the tubes, we're going to take it over E-Whip. It looks like E-Whip has better damage, or I should say better synergy, but like I said, I wanted to use everything, and the legendary multi-nox bow just felt like the right choice. But I want to close that circle when things happen. Oh, and we're going to grab this here too. And what was challenging for the survival run is that I died to several curses that could have been avoided. So I'm a little cursed out. Right now, as I'm talking, I'm definitely a little cursed out. So knowing I make it through these curses is quite good, obviously. But just, just thinking about going through these curses again, what would have happened if I took that firebrands that had the biters on it, so on and so forth. So little tired, but good news is we got it all. So let's talk about this multi-nox bow. So the normal multi-nox bow, it will shoot 3 arrows, right? So I think the default quiver for this is 20. Oh, I think it's 21. I want to say it's 21 arrows. So it shoots 3. So in theory, if arrows get stuck in enemies, you got like 7 shots. The legendary doubles that, so it shoots 6 arrows at once, and we'll see that it does really good damage on some mobs. Like I think we're gonna see it pretty not right here because we got a chest, but we're gonna see it pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure that my moveset is I'm gonna alternate here between the throwing knives and the multi-nox bow, so we can try to maximize our damage. But the downside is, since you're shooting off 6 arrows instead of 3, you can only really get 3 shots off. Am I going to take... What are we doing here? Oh, I had some mantling issues. I don't know if it's me, because I'm still, like, I didn't play for a long time and I'm kind of getting back into it, or if it's my control, because the Dual Shock or Dual Sense, whatever the PS5 control is called, my right stick is starting to drift. So I wonder if moving the camera and stuff is causing me a little bit of issue, or I could just be not grabbing the ledges when I need to. But yeah, so you really only have 3 shots with the multi-nox bow legendary if the shots are sticking in enemies. So one of the mistakes, so I looked at the synergy. We have plus 80% to poison. Quite good, right? As we were just talking about, synergies are important. Poison damage is great. Is this another? Yeah, so we got our second good dual stat. So I'm going to try to keep track of these here. Poison damage is good. Plus 80% to poison is the second highest damage bonus you can get. The first is, the third, right? First is plus 175 to frozen. Second is 100% to burning oil. And then poison is plus 80%. I feel like out of all the synergies, like poison is actually pretty easy to get. It spreads if an enemy is poisoned and it dies, it will spread the poison, whatever poison it had, it will spread around it. So pretty easy to get, but that's what I looked at. I saw the bow. I know I'm getting a toxic cloud around the wolf trap. So I'm like, all right, man, like we can throw it down. We'll get some extra damage. But what I should have done is I should have tried to roll for pierces, either pierces all or shots pierce the first target. I'm looking here. I don't see it, right? And I really like that on pretty much any bow, right? Because what you want is, the arrows can stick in enemies, and there's a niche use case for barb tips, right? So barb tips is a mutation that will do additional DPS per arrow that is stuck in an enemy, but I don't really want that in a biome. So what I want is when we're engaging enemies, because you can see there's usually you might have one enemy on its own, but like here we go, we got 3 of these in a row. We have enemies that are going to get stacked up on ledges and all of that stuff. So with Pierce 1 or Pierce All, that the arrows are obviously, they're going to do more damage, just spreading it across multiple enemies. So I don't have that, which is unfortunate. That's what I should have rolled for. I think I do. I roll for it at some point. Might be Sanctuary. Might be. Where did I go after Sanctuary? I think I went Clock Tower. But I do roll it at some point. But that's something I wish I had. And right there, if I had it, the shot would have gone through the Inquisitor into the Rampager, but it didn't. So I had to reactivate, or I should say re-engage. So, but yeah. So that's something that I should have done. And again, with the multi-nox bow having basically 3 shots, right? So if we're looking at 6 arrows a piece, where that's 18 arrows for 3 shots. If you get 21 ammo, that's pretty much all you can do. I don't think the bow will shoot if you have less than the amount of shots, right? So if that makes sense. You can roll an affix that gives you +3 ammo, so you'd be getting, I think it's 24, right? If I'm doing the math, so you could get 4 full shots off, but that's one of the downsides of the legendary multi-nox bow. So especially when you're fighting bosses, right? There are skills and grenades that will have an affix that say, I forget exactly how it's phrased, but basically it's like, arrows stuck in an enemy come back to you, or whatever it might be. That is great. So sometimes if I take something like this or whatever, 5EC bow, like whatever it is, I might grab a grenade, even if it's off color, that has that affix, so I can get my arrows back. But going into a boss, you would think like, hey, this does double, it shoots out double the arrows, which, in theory is double damage. Again, it is, but when those arrows get stuck, it can be pretty tricky. So I do take this. I think we go Conjunct. I'm pretty sure we take Conjunctivius here because we did Concierge during that first fight. I'm pretty sure we do Conjunct here, but we are gonna roll with throwing knives and multi-nox for a little while. Popping my head off there just to see if I got the stun grenade yet, because I don't think I have enough blueprints. I don't think I have enough blueprints cached in the collector's menu there. But yeah, we do take ammo. We do take weapons with ammo into the boss fight, and obviously I get a win here. I think I take a couple hits, but I'm curious to see what the ammo situation ends up being as we fight Conjunct. I can't remember if when she goes into her protected phase, if your arrows drop or not. So we're gonna see that together. And there's one of those cuts. I left the food shop and immediately went into Conjunct. I didn't cut that loading screen out though, huh? Wow. All right. So what are we looking at here? We got throwing knives. We have sinew slicer. I think I'm gonna grab this one. Yeah, I'm going to grab this one, I'm pretty sure. As you can see, it's got that shots pierce, but it has extra damage to burning, and the traps burn when they're destroyed. So a little bit of extra self synergy there. So I grabbed that, a little bit of an upgrade. And we're going into the conjunct fight. So what I like to do here is throw a wolf trap down. I should do it here. Try to bait her into it. Boom. And now the issue, though, is if you do this and you do a lot of damage, sometimes she can do that, where she'll do this AoE attack and it comes out of nowhere because she's stunned, or I should say because she's rooted. You don't really have a chance, or not really. It's not you don't have a chance. There is no telegraph. So you'll be sitting there or standing there or whatever, and all of a sudden damage comes out of nowhere. If for some reason you come into this fight cursed, be super careful. In general, but like be careful if you're trying to root conjunct and try to push through the phases, skip phases or whatever you want to call it. So we took that hit and everything else is going okay. Tentacle fight's going all right. I'm kind of just baiting them, rolling through, using my ranged items as they're sort of sweeping across here. And then I think we throw the traps down and she might charge one more time. And there it is, right? So we took one hit. I'm not positive. Again, we'll figure this out as we go through things. I think I may take one hit on every single boss. I don't think we flawless any bosses here, which to me, it's super annoying. It is so annoying. You can see here we got Cursed Graveyard and we got Non-Cursed Sanctuary. I'm going in here because, like I was talking about, Cursed Fatigue. And one of the benefits here of not unlocking stuff is you get a bunch of cells. So we're going to rock the Forge, one of my favorite investments. Some people invest in the stock market, right? I don't know if anyone was around when people were buying Beanie Babies. Remember those things? I like to invest in the Forge. Get like a good ROI, good return on investment with that thing, right? Oh man. But yeah, like I was saying, Cursed Fatigue, I did not want to take Cursed Graveyard. I like Graveyard a lot, especially with Tactics builds. I feel like that's another level, sort of like the Sewers, where Tactics builds can really shine. But I didn't want to deal with the Cursed level. I just wasn't in the mood for it. So we end up taking Sanctuary here. And I know we have a little bit of Cursed trouble here too. So I'm wondering if, again, we're good. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I think I heal right here. I don't even waste any time. Yeah, I don't waste any time. Obviously, we do well, but I think just based on my own sort of... there we go. See how the bow doesn't pierce, right? So I had to re-engage and move. If I had... There it is. I'm checking again. If I had Pierce All or Pierce 1, that would have been... that little corridor would have gone well. But normally, some of you folks have seen when I take a curse or I go into a curse biome, I love taking Damn Vigor. That is the mutation for going through curses, and I don't have that. So like I was saying, I got rocked a lot during that survival recording. I got rocked a few times here when I was trying to get this footage and the brutality footage or whatever. And unfortunately, we have a unique situation with the curse at the end of this level, and like I said, we'll get there when we get there. And we're good, right? Other than that, we're doing okay. One thing I did want to mention, I mentioned this in my brutality video. I'll do it a little bit more condensed here, but I immediately healed after taking that big hit, right? Because we were down to 10%. It makes sense, right? Unless there was big food on the map like we did with Corrupted Prison. Unless there's food on the map, it's probably a good idea to heal. Again, unless you have Damn Vigor or Disengagement or YOLO or something like that. The math behind healing otherwise is a flask will give you 60% of your health back. So if you heal at 40% or less, you are going to get the most efficiency out of that flask, right? So we're going from 39 to 99 or 20 to 80 or whatever it is. But if you heal at above 40%, right, you're not going to get the full 60%. So it's just like a little bit of min-max, a little bit of nerd math there. Of course, I think I said this in the other video too. If you got to heal, just heal. Like absolutely. If you're at 45% and you're like, let me save this heal, and then you take one huge hit and that's the end. Like, if you feel like you got to heal, just heal, right? But statistically, again, min max, stat wise or whatever, that is the not time frame. That is the window in which you are going to get the most efficiency out of a flask. So I was clearly well below that threshold. And this is really funny. I was well below that threshold, so I decided to heal. So this lore room will pop into Slumbering Sanctuary only once. It doesn't happen every time. But as you can see here, there are a lot of doors. So this is how you get the emergency door blueprint. You can't break any doors. You can't break any doors. So this game has conditioned you to break stuff all the time. It feels really good. So I get the blueprint and then I take my aggression out on all of the doors. I decide I'm not just going to use a teleporter. I'm like, I'm going to bust through everything here. So I decide to slam. I'm slamming. I'm rolling. I'm using my throwing knives. I'm going to pull out the multi-nox bow, I think, up at the top here. Yeah, I'm like, you cannot contain me. I will open all those doors calmly, and then I'm going to destroy everything. That felt really good. That felt really, really good. So the build. Let's get back to the build. So again, Sinew Slicer, Wolf Trap, those aren't really going anywhere, right? They're not going anywhere. Again, we're going to be checking synergies. We're going to do some upgrades here and there. We're going to re-roll as the, I almost said as the fight, as the run goes on. But they're both very strong. I'll take those in general. I will take them in general, not just doing a run like this where we're using basic stuff. I think Wolf Trap is amazing, and I think Sinew Slicer is very good, right? Because we get that, ooh, didn't see the golem there. We get that bleed propagation, or I should say not bleed propagation, but we get bleed on enemies, and again, it's really easy to roll, plus, to roll Toxic Cloud. You might roll Toxic Cloud and plus 80 to poison. You can get damage modifiers on it where it will give you plus 10% damage if you're near a turret, and you can take minus whatever. I think it's minus 25%. So there's some good affixes there. So Sinew Slicer is good. We decide to heal again. As you can see, I'm up to 86%. So I was down at whatever, 26 after taking a couple hits. Getting the most out of that flask for sure, right? We're getting the full 60%. And I think this is our first challenge. Yeah, this is our first challenge rift. So I'm going to grab this amulet just for a little bit of extra HP, and we're going into double speed here. Again, just trying to optimize the video, smooth out some of the extra, unnecessary bits here and there. You've seen me do this a bunch, and we do it. So we don't take a hit there. I say another flawless challenge rift because we got that in the brutality video too. Clearly nothing in that door. So I went in the door, I did something, I teleported out, and here we go. Again, just trimming off some of those rough edges. Excuse me. So I hit the switch, right? So most of us know how this level works. I hit the switch, and all of the statues will awaken at that point. So this is when the golems pop out. This is when the demons pop out. So each sort of iteration of the sanctuary has its own challenges, right? So for the first part, you get those we get the maskers. So the enemies that will have the smoke, they have their little church incense things that they're swinging around to keep enemies obfuscated behind the deep cut, obfuscated behind the fog. But then we also have things like the casters, right? So that was the enemy I took a huge hit on, the ones that sort of float around and throw those big fireballs at you. We have inquisitors, there's a curse usually, so there's a lot of stuff there. So that's challenging in general. And then once we come here, after we open the switch or hit the switch or whatever you want to say, all the enemies in the statues will pop out. So in general, it's good to clear out as many enemies as you can before you hit the statue. I actually don't know. This is a really good question. I don't know if the enemies change as you hit the statue. I feel like I should know this because we haven't seen any inquisitors, right? We hit the switch. This is the first time we're going down here. We haven't seen any inquisitors, right? We haven't seen any casters. So it seems like when you come, after you hit the switch and you come down these two tunnels, right? There's the left and the right that will have the locked door. It seems like the enemies behind the locked doors are different. So that's something I should have known and just noticed. How about that? if you go into a boss door, right? So if you go into one of those boss cell doors where there are enemies in there, you're going to want to clear those out, because that's when you get doubled, right? So you'll have the enemies that are already in there spawned, and then any statues that come out. We got Ranger's gear. At this point, I'm very concerned about getting through this level. I would hate to lose. I would hate to lose that blueprint. I think when I did my last tier list, I think I put it in the no category. I feel like it's just such a, it's like a good idea, but it's not in execution or whatever. It's not very good. I don't recommend it. And here's that tricky curse situation. So we got 10 curse. We did not get the curse chest until the very end. I think here's where I try to roll shots pierced. There we go. I lost the plus 80 to poison, but I got plus 75 to rooted. So we only lost a very small amount of synergy, and we got that shots pierced, which is fantastic. So we got the 10 curse. So I chose to go Clock Tower because I went Sepulcher and Giant. Oh, and this is why it's tough, right? We got these spike traps here. We have Bombardiers. I always get them confused. I should probably know the difference. But like this here, we got the Bombardiers throwing their grenades and their bombs everywhere. It is not a curse-friendly biome. I mean, I feel like a lot of them are not curse-friendly in general, but like this is one of the least curse-friendly, or the most cursed, one of the most curse-unfriendly biomes, however you want to say it. Yeah, see here again, it's like you gotta. I was like one tile away from taking that hit and you know getting wrecked by the curse. But we're almost done. I think there's going to be some kind of enemy on a platform here that we're just going to take out super quick just to get this done. But yeah, taking a curse into Clock Tower is not the best. When I see a curse here, I don't love it. I really don't. I feel like, of course, you know, especially at higher difficulties, you got to take them, right? You got to take the higher curses. Yeah, see, look at that. That was close. That was close. If I was cursed and I timed that jump just a fraction of a second earlier, I would have taken damage. But yeah, of course, you know, higher BCs, got to take those curses, right? You got to get your build up. You got to get more DPS, exponential damage, etc., etc. So when I see a curse in here, I'm just like, oh crap, here we go, right? But luckily, yeah, we got it. We cleared it out. We're good, and now we've gone through one tower, right? So we got 4 towers in the Clock Tower. So I guess you should call it Clock Towers, right? What did Modesto call it? The Time Castle? Yeah, Time Castle. That's what we're going to call it here. So going through the Time Castle, you have 4 columns, or I should say 4 towers. So basically, one of them will terminate the way that we just did. One of these will have a door, like a locked door that lets you out. I think one of them ends in a shop, and then the other one ends in the key that you need to get out of the level. So let's take a peek. Yeah, so there we go. So that one just sort of ended. This one ended in a shop. In the middle, you can see there that we already got the one that has the exit. So if I'm doing my math right, and I always do my math right, I'm pretty sure that this is the one that has the key in it. And it's going good. It's going good. We got 28 kills. I can't remember if I took a big hit or not, but we're doing okay. And I think one of the things that I am going to try to do is I'm going to try to get both support and tranquility. I don't do it here. Ooh, kudos bow. Nice. I don't do it here, but I think there's a elite oven knight or something that is going to be across a platform, and my goal with that is I'm going to try to throw the traps down, right? So I'm going to try to get some bleed from the sinew slicer. I'm going to be close enough. Do we take the E-whip here? Do we change? I might switch out the multi-nox bow. I'm not positive. I don't. I think I kept that in there to show you some deliberation, even though I didn't grab anything. But, support and tranquility. So, another huge hit. So I think at this point, I only have 1 flask, right? Again, because of the amount of stuff that we did not unlock, some of the meta upgrades are locked behind more unlocks, right? So we only have 3 flasks. I already chugged 2. I think they were both I'm pretty sure they were both in Sanctuary. I don't think we drank here yet. And again, talking about the math, if I healed here, we'd be getting the full 60%, going from 28 up to 88, but I choose not to, and I think I'm food hunting here. So if I heal, and I might, again, I can't remember if I do or if I don't. If I heal here, the next opportunity I'll have to get a flask is in the 5BC biome. So there's no food shop here. There is no food shop in High Peak Castle or Distillery or what's the other one? Shipwreck. There is one in Dracula's Castle, but basically, unless you take Drax Castle, there is no food shop after this tier biome. So if I take it, I am going to be, or I should say if I heal, I'm going to be out of flasks, and I'm going to make it through whatever, right? Timekeeper, High Peak, Hand of the King, 5BC biome, 5BC boss. I'm counting on my hand. That's five different things. I think right there I was a little bit confused with the layout, so I looked at my map and I realized that there was part of the tower I did not go through. So maybe there's 5 towers? I don't know, man. Whatever it is, we got one more tower that we're going through, and yeah, and I'm glad I did it. So Explorer's Instinct didn't pop, so I can't remember how much of the footage I actually kept for this, but I was looking at the map and I'm like, why aren't things filled out? So that's what I was waiting for, and we're good, right? We got ourselves 2 scrolls in this tower. There's going to be some cells behind one of these doors. Might be this one. There it is. 2BC. It looks like the 2BC door in here will always have cells. So we get some cells, we get 2 extra scrolls, and we're getting more cells just from killing the enemies and doing a full clear, so that way we can bump up the forge. It's so funny. I've filled that thing so many times over the years. It never gets old. Never gets old. And that's one of the benefits. I think I already said this, but one of the benefits of not unlocking anything is the cell surplus that we'll have. So instead of spending whatever, right? Oh, I got to spend 300 and I think it's 350 or 300 on the next flask. I got to spend whatever it is on this outfit. I need this Aphrodite outfit. I got to spend 700 cells or whatever it is. We got plenty of cells for the forge. I upgraded my sinew slicer there, so we have plus 80 to poison, and we have the toxic cloud around the trap. So excellent self synergy. Taking a peek here, the automatons have like a very slight, when I see that, it reminds me of Metal Gear Solid when the, what do you call it? Was it the ninja? I think it was. I think it was the ninja, not Psycho Mantis, but the enemy that could cloak itself and you can just see like this little bit of a shimmer around it. But anyways, the automatons have that. So if you just kind of look up against the walls, take your time, you might see a little bit of a shimmer there, and that's where they are. So we come in here. I think we're going to upgrade our sinew slicer. Yep. So we're just going to upgrade, and we're going to get plus 80 on the throwing knife. So we're in good shape. I do remember, I do heal in here. So we took 1 hit from Conjunct, and we are going to take 1 hit from Timekeeper. And when I say 1 hit, the O and the H are capitalized. I take a giant hit. I think it brings me all the way down. Look at this, all the way down to 1 HP. So if we didn't have 1 hit protection, that would have ended the run. So it brings me down to 0%, 1 HP. We drink, and super annoying, just only taking 1 hit, just barely missing out on that legendary. And again, it might not have been something we could have used. And I can't remember. I don't know if we get any other non-tactics legendaries in the run. I can't remember, but even if it's something that's in the item pool, but it's not a tactics weapon, we're not using it. If I had found a legendary symmetrical lance, which is very powerful, I would have taken it, but in a normal scenario, but with this run, I would have just recycled it. Let's get some more cells. What are we up to? Almost 8,400. So 80% S quality, which is great. So I'm here, I'm cruising, I'm like, all right, I don't want to go Distillery, I don't want to go Dracula's Castle, and we're back for another Cursed High Peak. So this is what happened in our Brutality run. We got the Cursed High Peak last time. We got the Cursed High Peak Castle again. I do not have any grenades, so if I kill a sore loser, it's going to curse us. Again, if you kill a sore loser with a grenade, oil grenade, what do you call it? Infantry grenade, cluster grenade, powerful grenade. It won't curse you, but we don't have that. We don't have that luxury there. So we're gonna see how much or how many curses I end up taking. Again, obviously we make it out, right? But there are some stressful moments, I feel like. And it's funny, so like sometimes, not just dead cell stuff. So I mean, not just, oh, here we go. So this is our third good scroll and 1 challenge drift. So we got 4 bonus scrolls here. Not just watching Dead Cells runs, like, so not just watching Nano Tyrannus, who is like literally the best Dead Cell speedrunner on the planet. Dude's insane. But not just watching Dead Cells runs, but just watching other speedruns. You know that they win, right? Because the video says world record or whatever, but I watch it, and even though I know the video is going to end successfully, I get so anxious. I'm like, oh my God, is he going to take a hit? Oh my God, is he going to die here or whatever? And there it is, right? So we get our first curse. It comes and goes like a gentle breeze, right? The cerulean blue is like a gentle breeze. So that curse came and went super fast. And I feel like that is the epitome, right? That is the quintessential curse biome experience where something happens, right? You kill a sore loser, you get hit by a cursor's skull attack, you end up getting blasted by I already forget. I don't remember what the other cursed enemy's name is. But you get a curse, and then the next thing you know, the curse is cleared, and you're sitting there being like, wait, what happened? What happened? And then inversely, it can happen where you get cursed, you don't realize it, and then you immediately die. So there it is. We're going to kill this dude again. And you don't have to. You don't need to kill those. I can't remember if I said this in the last video or not. We're going to keep that on the map. Let's put an asterisk there. You don't need to kill them, but you know, when there's a bunch of enemies around, they just jump right in the way. So a lot of it is splash damage, incidental bloodshed, or whatever it is. But if you're wrapping up a level and there's a couple of those following you around, they don't do any damage, right? They don't hurt you. You don't need to kill them. You can just leave them. There you go. Whatever that enemy is, it gives you a curse. But you can just leave them. You don't have to worry about them. I remember this being very cathartic because Royal Guards are terrible. Based on that generation, for some reason, he can't teleport, so I'm able to just jump up and pick him off. Revenge for the much pain and the many deaths I've suffered at the hands of those Royal Guards. But yeah, the sore losers don't do any damage. They just follow you around like a lost puppy, and sometimes I feel bad. Sometimes I feel bad taking them out. But if that's all you have left on the map, just leave them alone, right? Just leave them alone and move on. Move on with your life, right? But I think, the other thing too, again, I can't remember what I said and what I didn't say in that last video, but if you take Cursed High Peak Castle, the cursed enemies can exist within the doors, within the key doors, right? So the blue door, the red door, the green door, they can exist in there. So if you are clearing the map and you're like, hey, I'm good, you might go into one of those key doors and then find a sore loser and accidentally kill it as you're trying to take out something else. You might get cursed by a cursor, and then you are in trouble, right? You're in trouble. Again, going back to the thought of trying to scan the map for cursed for enemies when you're cursed at the end and not finding any, man. You want to talk about having a pit in your stomach. That's one of the worst. I hate that feeling so much. Yep, so there we go. I take them out because it's not the end of the level. I know there's more in there, and again, trying to get full clears or as full as possible, right? But I think we're almost done. I think we're almost done with the level. Again, I got one more curse. I gotta clear here. I'm pretty sure that we got both shops, so I think explorers might pop soon. I'm not positive. I think we've made some pretty good progress here. I think explorers pop soon, but there isn't a lot to do here now other than just going through the kill doors. There it is. Just going through the kill doors and making sure that we get, I'm sorry, not the kill doors, the key doors. Just making sure we get the keys. Like I always do, I grab all 3 keys. You only need 2. You only need 2 to get out of here to get to Hand of the King or Dracula if you have the Return of Castlevania DLC. You only need a couple, but all 3 of them will get you a, extra scroll. So what are we doing here? We're looking at a level 12 wolf trap. I'm looking at my affixes, and I decide to take it. I think they both had bonus to electricity, and I think the bonus damage to fire was not as consequential as the upgrade. I don't know. Either way, we went up from a 7 to there it is. Boom, cursor immediately curses me. I don't even see it. Either way, we upgraded our wolf trap. We're in good shape there, and another semi-cautious curse. I hate seeing those tornado enemies. I should know what they're called, but I hate seeing them in general. I do not like seeing them when I'm cursed, but we got them. In the editing here, there's another one, right? We gotta get 2 of them off the map before we can clear that curse. That's brutal. That's brutal, right? But the editing here, I just want to bring note to it because I feel like it's more noticeable than some of the other cuts. Basically, because I already cleared the map, all we're doing between the green, red, and blue doors is we're just traveling between the castle to find the other doors. So I edited it. That sounds really funny. I edited the footage so that way we leave the green door and then we end up in the red door, and we leave the red door and we end up in the blue door. So it's the editing is a little bit more noticeable than the other stuff. I just wanted to bring it to people's attentions in case you're looking and like, wait, what happened? Did I miss something? The answer is yes, you missed something, but you missed it on purpose. Just trying to save. Your time is already precious. Just trying to save another 10 or 15 minutes of it, right? So we're going to bounce out of here, and there we go. We're right into the red door. So I don't know if this is... I feel like I've said this word a bunch throughout my videos. I don't know if this is confirmation bias or not, where I'm looking for something, and when it happens, I say to myself, there it is. I knew that was going to happen. But I've noticed in all patches, even way back in 1.0, forever ago, the 2 dark trackers in here for the key that you need, I feel like one of them has a legendary, and obviously it doesn't happen every time, and we get ourselves a legendary throwing knife. Beautiful. I'm immediately going to recycle the other one. I love it. I love it, and we're going to talk about why it's important for the 5BC biome once we get there. But I feel like one of those elites will have a legendary more than the other 2, and I feel like it's more than other elites in the game. But again, I could just be looking for it. I could have found however many legendaries from that enemy throughout the years. So when it happens, I'm like, I knew it. I knew this is something that was gonna happen or whatever. But I did notice that happens sometimes. So you may also have that experience as well. And this is what we don't want. So like I said, you're gonna find these enemies in the key doors there. I could have taken a curse, so if I did, I would have been okay, hopefully, because I had that elite, and there's like another 6 or 7 enemies on the map or whatever it is. There it is. I was being super cautious there, knowing that if there was a cursor, I could take it out from a distance without it shooting its curse at me. And we got 2 more items. We got a cursed enemy there, boom, and then we got the demon, boom. And we're good. We're good. So we're bouncing out of here. We're going to use all 3 keys. Again, see, there you go. You got 2. You can get out of here. But we're going to use all 3. I think I'm just going to recycle all this stuff. And then we're going to... What's the other word I use? We're going to mosey. We're going to mosey out of here. I think I have a brief moment where I consider doing double throwing knives. Yep, you can see it there, but I don't. And at this point, I remember I left that the firebrands on the map. So I'm going to go back to it. And this is the... I'm pretty sure this is the end build. We might reroll, we might upgrade, but I know that this is the default, or not the default. This is the kit that we're coming out of here with, right? So I did a beginner build guide, I think is what it was called, and this was one of the builds. So I think I called it, what did I call it? Blood and Fire or Steel and Fire or something like that. Fire and Steel, I can't remember. But it's basically this. You throw throwing knives on the left, firebrands on the right. You get a trap or 2. I'm pretty sure it was both of these, Sinew Slicer and Wolf Trap. And you basically throw the traps down, use support, and hold down both buttons. Look at that. Look at that synergy. We got plus 80 to poison and plus 40 to bleeding on the firebrands, which is fantastic. I don't know what I'm rolling for here. I might be trying to get burning. I might be trying to get burning and bleed. I have no idea. There we go. So I take the bleed. And we make our way over to Hand of the King. Hand of the King. So this is the last non-spoiler boss here. And again, I think I take 1 hit. I misjudge, if I'm remembering the right run. I think I misjudged his ground slam, and I jump down too early, and I take a hit right before it disappears off the ground. I'm pretty sure. But we'll see. We'll see soon. With this, I think they're called disgusting worms, the things that drop the eggs. I like to kill them before finishing the elites. Yeah, here's the damage. Watch. I should have waited like half a second. And there it is. One hit. We are one hit again away from a legendary for the third time. Real quick before I continue, this is the end of non-spoiler content. So if you don't, we're going to do the walk, we're doing the walk. If you don't want to see any 5BC spoilers, now's a good time to dip out, close a video. If that's what you choose to do, thank you for hanging. That's quite funny. Thanks for hanging. I hope this was fun and it's inspirational, and we're going into 5BC. Okay, there we go. So that spoiler warning was okay. It was definitely better than the one from the brutality video. But we're one hit away from getting the legendary. And again, for me, the annoyance of taking one hit versus the danger of taking more than one hit. I get more annoyed and disappointed when I take one hit, because it feels like you just make one small mistake and you're like, if I only did something a little bit different, right? If I was only a little further away from Timekeeper, if I only put some extra distance between me and Concierge, if I only waited a half a second before jumping off that platform, right? When you take 3 or 4 hits, you're just like, oh man, I had a bad boss fight. Oh no, I could have done better in general. Like the giant fight I had for my brutality video. That was not great. And we're in a very interesting situation here. So a lot of the time, I'm just going to throw a random percentage out. I don't know if this is true. I'm just making a guess here. So like maybe 95% of the time, the tower in the Astral Lab is on the right-hand side. Every once in a while, it's on the left, and that's what we got. So we got left tower here. So as I'm kind of like making my way around here, I'm thinking at some point, like I see that, and I look over there, and I'm like, is that the tower? I'm like, oh, it is. But what I thought at that point is I thought that was the Apex key section, right? So that's the area where you can jump down. You can get the Apex key to unlock the Sonic Carbine, I think. Yeah, Sonic Carbine. So I thought that's what it was. So I was like, all right, cool. Like I know what that is. I know where I am in the map or whatever. But like at some point I get lost. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And then I realize we have left tower. So not a common occurrence. So when this happens, it feels like you're in like a mirror world, right? So if you ever played, it's like if you played Zelda Twilight Princess on the Wii, and then you play it on GameCube and everything's backwards, and you're like, wait a second. That door is supposed to be on the right. That tower is supposed to be on the right, like whatever it is. So I do get a little confused at some point. So here's the food shop, right? So we're going to get the flask. We're going to get our flask back. Sometimes a Astral Lab shop can be mimicked, so I threw the traps down. No luck, which would have been great because I would have loved to have double flask there. And I think this is the moment where we start moving our way over here, and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? Oh, we have left tower. So I stop for a second and I'm trying to find out, all right, where's that next elite? Where's this second key? You can see the generation to the right there. It hasn't been completed yet, so that's where it is. And I had mentioned when I picked up the legendary throwing knives, I had mentioned that there was a reason I took it in here. So when an enemy gets killed by the legendary throwing knife, it propagates bleed. So you'll see a big, do I take this? I don't think I do. I do not. You'll see a big red circle like that, and it's big, like it doesn't even fit on the screen. So anything within that circle will take bleeding damage. The librarians here those things are a huge pain. You can see that thing just got demolished. It absolutely vanished off the map. So that's why I wanted to make sure, and in general, to just, legendary throwing knives are quite good. I also wanted to make sure that I would have something with verticality to take care of the librarians, and that did the trick. So we got both of our keys. We are going down the left tower here. Not much. I feel like there's not much to speak of as far as things that happen. We are at the 59 here, going into 60. There it is. The bleed prop just takes out the librarian. I love it. I love bleed prop and propagation in general, right? You can get it on think it's anything that bleeds, but Sinew Slicer, it's great. I think that's the legendary affix for Sinew as well. Obviously, as you can see, it's great on throwing knives. I'm pretty sure you can also get it on the Blood Sword, which is quite good. And I think you can get it on Blood, what do you call it? Bloodthirsty Shield as well. I'm not 100% on that one, so I could be wrong, but I'm looking for food. We got money that we're not going to need because there's nothing in the shop, and we already got the potion. But I love that. I love that affix. One of the things, like you'll see here, so one of the things that will happen is if an enemy gets hit by that bleed bubble, or whatever you want to call it, it will aggro, right? So that bomber ended up coming down to pay us a visit because it got hit with it. Sometimes, like the librarian, if it doesn't immediately take it out, it will start coming down to you. It can aggro elites, and see, we'll do it again here. That bomber was in the bubble. So you just got to be careful of that if you choose to use it. And then one of the things that I've learned through one of my mistakes, I think there's a video where my long play, it's a survival 5BC run where it shows the thumbnail is a guy by a campfire, and it's one of the beheaded screenshots from one of the trailers, and he looks exhausted. I'm pretty sure that I ended up not going through the door like I did there in that run, and I got trapped and I lost the run as I'm coming up the tower with like full flasks and stuff. It's brutal. So that's one of the things I like to do when we get enemies on the side there. Just run out of the side, engage them from the platform from a little bit further away, and then that can be helpful so you don't get pinned, you don't get trapped. So we got the keys, we got most of the enemies. Again, I'm gonna filter out some of the footage where I go to clear enemies, I go to jump over there, and I'm like, wait a second, we have left tower, and I get trolled here. So one of the things that I should have done is, in an earlier shop, I should have bought this key. If you don't have the Slay the Spire outfit, there is a chance you're going to see the ruby key in a shop, and it takes the place of something, and here it took place of the big food. So I wanted the big food to cap me off at 100%. I don't see it there, and I'm saying to myself, oh man, you should have. But I didn't buy it. If I bought it earlier, I would have had a big food, but ain't the end of the world. We're coming in here with 75 instead of 100. Hitting up the 5BC area. I think in here, I get myself a nice amulet. We got ourselves a triple, I said triple gold. What color is this? Triple purple. Got ourselves a triple purple. So we got a little bit extra DPS. I think I'm going to take one more look here at my modifiers. I might roll or I might not. I don't think I do, because this is quite good. Yeah. Like Daniel says, this is the build. Take a quick peek here as we go into the 5BC boss arena. So again, if you don't want to see the 5BC boss, now's a good time to dip out. Again, thanks for your time if you do. Otherwise, for everyone else, we're going to make our way in here. I try to walk slow, and I'm like, oh, it's already too late. It's already too late. So we got ourselves into the collector fight. So we have 75% health. We have 1 flask. And the good news is we have very good damage. We got synergies. We got traps. We got damage over time. We got support. So I'm not too worried about it. So let's see how this goes. I think I throw the traps down immediately. Yep, we're going to jump and dodge out of the syringe attack since we don't have a shield. And there's some good poppage. Is that the right word? We got some good poppage here. Yeah, that damage is very nice. We're going to dodge through the vertical syringe attack. He's going to pop 2 flasks here. We might actually get him to pop the 3rd. Look at that. Look at that damage. Insane. So we quickly make it to the final room, and I take 1 hit. This one is incredibly annoying because it wasn't necessarily my fault. So when the collector drinks, right, I think he's going to do it after this attack, you can get bumped back. And look at that. He goes to pull his flask out. I get bumped into the spikes. Unfortunately, we take a hit. For the 4th time on the 4th boss, we take 1 single hit. But either way, we got ourselves a victory. So there we go. So brutality done in the previous video. We get tactics done here. So we made it through, all the way through with just our starting weapons. I think out of the 3 The 3 stats tactics is probably the easiest, I would say. I mean, relatively easiest out of the 3. Didn't have too many troubles. Again, we took a couple big hits, had to chug all our potions, but we made it through. So hopefully this was a fun video. Again, a little bit of a challenge run, just trying to make things a little bit more interesting, and just taking all the default stuff and seeing how things go, and we got it, right? We got it. So again, hope this was helpful. I hope you've been well in general. And as always, thanks for your time. Thanks for hanging out. I know, our time in general is limited, and I appreciate yours. So as always, thanks for watching, and good luck out there.